Yahoo! Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. さあ、行きましょう。Showdown at Zama. All seems quiet as you patrol the area near the camp. Eventually, you have to split up your party. About to give up when you notice a barely perceptible movement behind a large scrub. It could be the wind, but you'd better check. You beckon to two of your companions. There's a man hiding behind the shrub. He carries a sword, but he's unarmored. He doesn't say a word, but slowly raises his hands in surrender. You take him back with you. The man is obviously a spy. Not only were you in charge of the party that found him, but you had a key role in his capture. Two more spies are captured and brought before Scipio. To everyone's astonishment, he treats them as free men and even instructs a tribune to show them around the camp. When their tour is complete, the Punic spies are seen departing, attended by an escort of all things. A few days later, you are breaking camp and moving closer to Zama. Rumors are rife that Hannibal wants to meet Scipio in person and talk peace. Whether he's doing this out of curiosity after the magnanimous treatment counts, or because of something they saw during their uncustomary visit, you have no idea. You stop near a town called Naragara. As always, you start building your camp on an easily defendable position. The Carthaginians set their camp less than 4 miles away. Another day goes by. Scipio leaves camp with a bodyguard of picked horsemen. From your high observation point, you watch them ride slowly towards the meeting place. They join a similar group coming from the opposite camp. When they are close enough, most of the riders stop. Two figures from each group advance towards each other. The two commanders and their interpreters. Difficult. Interpreters. You have no idea which is which from this far. All you can see is 4 barely distinguishable dots. One of those dots is the man that shook your world to its foundations. The meeting goes on for a while. The fate of millions depending on the unrevealed words they are trading. Then the 4 dots separate and rejoin their escorts, riding back to their respective camps. Too soon, way too soon to have reached an agreement. You see the apprehension on the faces of those standing next to you. When Scipio gets back, word spreads quickly throughout the camp. There will be battle tomorrow. Disappointed, so it's more bloodshed. So you have a chance to make sure it's the last Saigoni battle. The day has come. Your army is fully deployed on the battlefield. The principes to which you belong stand in the center with the rest of the infantry. The hastati form a line in front of you. Unlike the usual checkered pattern, the gaps between each of their maniples are exactly in front of the gaps between yours. Also, their gaps are filled up with velites. Usually, these skirmishers are deployed in front of the infantry. Behind you, the triari are disposed in a similar arrangement. The continuous line of men up ahead blocks your view. You can't see anything of the enemy except for the elephants. Hannibal has positioned his huge beasts in the middle, right there in front of you. Your wings are protected by the cavalry as usual. Massinissa leads his Numidian warriors on the right, while Laelius is in command of your Italic Soci on the left. You wait. There's nothing else you can do. Wait a minute. The lull is interrupted when the elephants begin to advance. You wonder how it must to the soldiers in the first line. When the large animals are close enough, a deafening noise arises from the sides, as every horn and trumpet in the hands of your cavalry is blown. It seems to work. The elephants are unsettled by the racket. Some of them turn away and run off on their own. The rest keep advancing towards the center. The velites fall back, opening the wide gaps between the maniples of the hastati. The elephants are lured in while the velites keep attacking with their javelins. They are approaching your line. It's not the first time you have met these fearsome beasts. You still remember your close encounter at Ilipa. You stand your ground. Yes. You keep banging your shield with your sword as you have been instructed to do. The elephants keep away from the noise, while the velites go on dealing with them. At last they move past and disappear beyond the rear. The danger is over, for the moment. You notice your cavalry is no longer there. They must have charged when you were dealing with the elephants. At a signal, the hastati close the gaps and start moving forward. You do the same and follow. At a distance, when they engage something, the Carthaginian first line? You keep ready, not knowing what's going on. At one point, they start advancing again, as if their opponents were retreating. Then they suddenly come to an abrupt halt. The line is losing cohesion under what must be a powerful shock. You have to make a decision, and quickly. Lead your maniple forward. Every moment counts. We need to end this war. You order to advance and join the fight. Bodies, weapons, and shields scattered about. The ground is slippery, whatever. Whatever has been going on here, it has been even more brutal than usual. You manage to keep your balance, but in the ensuing chaos, you become separated from the ranks. Two enemies jump on you without wasting time. Attack! It was nothing. You hastily recover your position, but it is not over yet. Come on. Eh? Chine. Ping. Eventually, the enemy formation starts breaking apart. Very soon, panic spreads as their wavering turns into a rout. The opposite lines is broken, but the clash has left you untidy and partially scattered. Your cavalry and the enemy one are nowhere to be seen. The enemy infantry is fleeing, but in the distance they start splitting into two separate directions. Something is blocking their path. Beyond, you spot another line of foot soldiers, ready for battle. You notice the glitter of heavy armor. Hannibal has kept his veterans in reserve. You must regroup or all is lost. Mounted high officers ride from side to side, shouting orders. Your maniple has to fall back and move to the right wing, but it is a difficult maneuver given the situation. Do as you're told, forget about orders, regroup as many as you can and stay in the middle. Time is too short. There's only so much you can accomplish. You manage to regroup, but stay in the middle. Now you form a single line along with the Hastati and the Triari, side by side. Blood and corpses cover the ground that separates you from the Punics. You advance. Legionaries are hardened soldiers, but walking over mutilated corpses before facing the enemy is an appalling experience. Motivate them. Your men take heart. Their expression is a mask of grim determination. You are beyond the gruesome tract. The enemy line is waiting for you. This is the last stand. Your ancestors at Lake Regilius, centuries ago, the men who broke the war like Samnites at Aquilonia after 3 ferocious wars. Their sons, who stopped Pyrrhus at Beneventum. The generation of your grandfathers who shattered the Carthaginian fleet off the Aegetis Islands. Did they all feel like you do now? You do now? Approaching a moment that will resonate through time? Here in the center, you have to face Hannibal's veterans, his finest troops, who have followed his lead through endless years of hardship and triumphs. You steel yourself for a titanic struggle. Your target skillfully deflects the missile, but at least you've caused some minor disruption. Hannibal's veterans. This man was there when Hannibal crossed the Alps, and you were but a child. He was at the river Trebia, and at Lake Tresimin, and he was at Cannae. Yes. No. Yes, good hit. Be quick. Come on, hit. Yes, got one. No, I keep fighting. Quick feint. Average, the most difficult people to fight. EP. You keep your place at the front. I won first. I won first place. Front row seats. Got another one. Oh, keep fighting. Front row seat. Chance. So. There's 3 of his veterans lists. Oh, keep fighting! Once again, you lead your soldiers into the offensive. Into the meat grinder, boys. too tired. Chance. Yeah. Despite your efforts, they hold their ground. The Punics won't give way. They are too strong. Your comrades are tired. Too many are wounded. They are faltering. So many years, so much bloodshed, only to fall here, one step away from victory? You keep resisting. Your formation is moments away from breaking. You almost fail to hear the approaching thunderclap, and then the shockwave rippling clear of the Carthaginians. What? The cavalry? The cavalry's back. Attacked on two fronts, the Punics are in chaos now. Without wasting a moment, you renew your assault with energies you didn't suspect you had. Some of the enemies attempt to flee and are cut down. Many stand where they are and fight to their last breath. Surrender when they realize all hope is lost. It is over. It is finally over. You receive your share from the spoils of the battle. They say that Hannibal himself, upon his return to Carthage, told the Senate that the war was lost. The Council of War, summoned by Scipio, discards a direct attack on the Punic capital. The city is well protected and a siege would take years. Peace talks are resumed. Carthage is allowed to keep its laws and its territories in Africa. It loses everything else. Its foreign policy becomes de facto subject to Rome's will. The war indemnity they are to pay will cripple them for generations. Their warships, once the pride and symbol of their power over the Great Sea, are reduced to 10 triremes. This ends a 16-year war. Not the longest, but the bloodiest conflict the world has ever in the West. Goldarmila. Of a bad day. Your victorious army leaves Africa and lands at Lilybaum. From there you set sail once more. Your destination is Ostia, Rome's seaport. What is waiting for you and your comrades in Rome is even beyond your expectations. The triumphal procession is the most imposing the city has ever seen. Scipio, whom they start calling Africanus, for the land he conquered, parades in front of you, his army on a chariot pulled by four white horses. Today, the survivors of Cannae are most deeply affected. They had their revenge at last, and no one will ever dare to question their honor again. But their long exile stole many years from their lives. This is something not be able to give back. Meanwhile, another war is looming in the east, and missionaries of Pergamon, Rhodes, and even Athens came seeking the help of Rome against the expansion of King Philip V, ruler of Macedon, one of the powerful kingdoms carved from Alexander's immense empire. Many see this new war as an opportunity too good to miss. The Republic may be tired after a long conflict with Carthage, but the army has been forged into a formidable weapon of conquest. A tempting tool in the hands of men longing for personal glory and richness. Way too tempting. Publius Sulpicius Galba, elected as one of the two consuls for this year, is assigned to deal with the crises in Macedonia. He is allowed to add precious veterans from Africa like yourself to his army, but only on a voluntary basis. You are promised a quick campaign in a rich land, with plenty of loot to settle down and allow your family to live a comfortable life. Volunteer. More money! Molto denari. You embark under command of Consul Galba at the naval base of Brundisium to cross the Adriatic, one of the many portions of the Great Sea. When you land at Apollonia, you learn that Philip is conducting a campaign in the Dardanelles, while another of his armies is besieging Athens. The Macedonian king grows emboldened by his successes in the east. A diplomatic mission fails, but it is widely believed that neither leader really wants peace at this point. The consul sends a small fleet to help the Athenians, while you remain with the bulk of the army to prepare for the war on the Your party is walking through a small town when suddenly a stone bounces off your shield with a thump. Someone is having fun using you as target practice. You glimpse a figure withdrawing behind a nearby building and give chase. You seize him after a brief pursuit. He is just a young boy. Just scare him. You can catch only a few words, but by the way he's groveling and crying, you think he has learned his lesson. You let him go and get back to your companions. They are still laughing it up. There are Thracian auxiliaries in Philip's army, but the party in front of you is not exactly ordinary. The heavily armored warrior who leads the group is huge, a 7.5-foot monster towering above his compatriots. You've heard of him. They call him the Bulwark. Truth be told, before seeing him with your own eyes, you didn't even believe that a human that big could exist. Brandishing an outlandish iron-headed mace with alarming skill. That thing must be heavy, but he makes it look like a stick. He keeps shouting something to your party that bears all the hallmarks of a challenge. He moves with surprising dexterity for his bulk. There in the open, his mace would give him further advantage over your sword. Accept this challenge. You walk towards him with deliberate slowness, your eyes locked on your opponent's hulking form. You stop a few paces away from him. He wears a rampaya strapped to his back, but no javelins. Good. You will take any tactical advantage that you can get. Hit him in the arm. He's about 7.5 foot tall and outrageously skilled. His mace could easily devastate a man, even through chainmail. Huge Tyrios, Phrygian bearded head, Thracian curse, Greaves. Doesn't tire himself out. Bye. No. Keep at it. Tire yourself out. Paint. Stop doing that. Eh? The first time he can hit me this often? Typical. Of course he misses. You're fighting a giant and yet my character manages to actually miss him. Come on. You can't hit him in the door? Yes. Reeves. Ooh. Oddly, the first time I actually see them in this playthrough. Bearded helmet? Not good. Thracian cuirass. Not really enough cover. The Colossus stares at you. For the first time you see despair in his eyes. With a trickle of blood running from his lips, he tries some incomprehensible words and loudly collapses to the ground. For a minute there is silence. When the full force of what just happened hits the Thracians, they panic and run away. But your brothers are too busy cheering to give chase. Mhm. Yep. Yes, getting praise. Today you're escorting a quester in his daily routine near the camp area. He's an elected public official of senatorial rank, very close to the commander himself. Try to socialize. You're a good talker and the quester appreciates your company. You discuss the country you're stationed in and the ongoing war effort. You even learn news about the current situation in Rome. Okay. Foraging in Greece. No, I went to village. This hamlet has seen better days. Take their provisions and you will doom the inhabitants for sure. Might have been a little too compassionate. Ambush. Again. Curioporos. Typhus. Yes. Still managed to do it. This is a good one. Let's pick this one. We've got better ones. But that's not really worth the effort. Okay. Crossing the lands of the Sarete, your army has reached the Macedonian border. Before Philip laid waste to the area surrounding Athens. But now you're the threat to his fighting force, and you know he has diverted his efforts to stop you. For some time, both armies ignore each other's position. When the Macedonians ultimately make contact, they set camp a mere 1,000 paces from yours. Led personally by their king, they are about as numerous, perhaps above 20,000. After 2 uneventful days, the king leads you out to offer battle. For the first time ever, your army is fielding more elephants. You have not decided yet if you trust the beasts. They can be devastating at times, and horses are them, but they are known to against their own army when they panic. That is not a thought you should dwell on at this time. Your own army. You may no longer be the young boy who 10 years ago looked at the walls of New Carthage with apprehension, but the thought of facing the legendary Macedonian phalanx doesn't make you feel at ease. However, it is soon becomes apparent that you won't be fighting anyone today. Philip is blatantly refusing battle, and he sends forth a small host of cavalry and light infantry. Galba answers with a similarly composed force, but the ensuing skirmish comes to nothing. 2 days later, another skirmish leaves no mark. Gonson leads you out on the morrow. Philip declines once again. Time is passing and everyone is aware that the Macedonian supply line is much shorter than yours. Galba can't send you to forage with the army so close by. It doesn't come as a surprise when he gives order to move your camp several miles away, near a place they call Autolobus. From the safety of your new camp, forage parties are sent farther and farther away to harvest wheat from the surrounding fields. It looks like a fine day when you set off to a distant area. Everything seems to go smoothly as you spend hours harvesting the precious crop. It comes as a shock when one of the soldiers raises a cry of alarm. A large cavalry squadron is approaching and they are not friends. It won't take long before they get here. You're in charge, think quickly. You might seek refuge in a small forest to the northwest. If you're not too slow, you should be able to reach it in time before you're swept up. Or you might convince your men to suppress panic, close ranks and move orderly towards the trees, trying to keep the enemy at bay. Close ranks! The horsemen were counting on you to break and disperse, but your men's discipline and training have prevailed. The charge is called off before the impact, but they keep harassing you as they can while the solid square you have formed slowly moves towards the safety of the forest. You easily ward off the occasional spear thrust. At last you reach the forest. You press on through the trees where the cavalry won't dare follow. You keep moving for about half an hour. You are still safe from the cavalry, but there might be other dangers lurking in a place like this. You hear noises of battle coming not far away. All eyes turn to you. This might lead to another ambush, when you may not be able to escape. On the other hand, someone may be in need of help. Get ready for battle. There's a glade in front of you. A bunch of legionaries are trying to fight off a much larger party of Thracian auxiliaries. I've been talking too much. Auxiliaries. You're seen almost immediately and have to defend yourself. You have enough men to turn the tide of this clash. Insta-kill. Mercenaries like him are commonly found in the employ of Hellenistic armies. Thracian auxiliary. He's not wearing armor. Domed nasal helmet. Even more guard, but too much penalty. Even more penalty awareness. The remaining Thracians make their escape. Rather than face the risk of another surprise, you decide to put as much distance as possible between you and them. The soldiers you have rescued are eager to join your party. From a hilltop you can see a large tract of land. The most direct route to your camp goes through the plain in front of you, but the presence of an enemy cavalry squadron dissuades you from going down this road. There are two alternatives: wooded ragged ground to your left and marshland to your right. Would offer good cover, or do so it appears. The crossing is difficult. At one point the ruckus and swirling behind your shoulders tells you that something serious happened. Marcellus, one of your soldiers, fell off an escarpment. He landed on the ground 6 paces below and seems to be seriously injured. There's no way for him to come back from there, and there's no easy way in, unless you want to abandon him to his fate. Someone must climb down and help him find his way to the campsite. Go to his aid. Aquilius and Quirinius are ready to follow you. Cautiously you begin the tricky descent. It is a demanding task, but you reach the bottom safely. Marcellus' sword arm is broken, and he limps heavily as he walks. When Aquilius and Quirinius reach you, you say goodbye to your brothers-in-arms above and set off on your own. You have been walking for a while, ears up for any suspicious sound. In a shocking, horrifying moment, you see both Aquilius and Quirinius collapse, each with a javelin stuck through their body. Thoughts and instincts overlap in your mind. Whoever did this possesses great skills and training. Marcellus can't run. You won't leave him to die. Two figures emerge from the trees. You recognize their insignia. Peltasts. Philip's elite troops. One of them comes to you, the other attacks Marcellus. You must dispatch your opponent quickly. Marcellus won't be able to resist long. Missed? He belongs to the elite infantry unit of Philip V. Their role is similar to the legendary Hypastists of Alexander's time. Oh, come on, you can't miss that. That's one. Marcellus, don't fear, I am here. You fling yourself at his second peltas just before he lands the killing blow on a knocked out Marcellus. Ouch. Ouch. I know better. Marcellus regains consciousness and looks appalled at the sight of the 4 corpses. You can tell he feels guilty for the deaths of Achilles and Quirinius, but he can't stop thanking you for saving his life. You're quite sure the Peltas were scouting for a larger group. You can't stay around for too long. You set off after one last goodbye to your fallen friends. You eventually leave the hills and even rejoin your group as soon as you come in sight of your camp. It turns out the path you took was much shorter than theirs after all. You find confusion when you arrive at the camp. Small parties of survivors like yours are coming with alarming news of what is happening outside. The consul sends out his cavalry to rescue the beleaguered foragers and leads the heavy infantry in support. You have led back many men. Your excellent work is greatly appreciated. After your ordeal, you are left behind to garrison the base. The army comes back at the end of the day. The Macedonians have been repulsed and forced back to their camp. There is even a soldier who boasts of having killed Philip's horse, almost getting the king himself. You find it hard to believe. An armistice is declared to bury the dead on both sides. The night is silent and peaceful, but when the morning comes, you are baffled to find out that Philip and his army have left. For the moment, Galba does not seem inclined to give chase. Well, I got rewarded for my excellence. Anyway, I am going to end this stream at this. It wasn't very long in comparison to the last one. Go me. But my throat is right. Anyway, このストリームは終わりましょう。ではでは、またね。じゃあね。Bye bye. I'm going to end this stream at this. Thank you all for watching now or in the future, and see you again next time.